Welcome back to North of the Broad. Theresa Jackson is with us. She is a program coordinator for VITA, which stands for the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program.
Right.
Good to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks. It's always good to be back.
Now, it's November, so we're quite a ways from tax season,
Right.
but there are a lot of uncertainties. So tell us again, what is VITA and what are you all forecasting?
Exactly. So VITA is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, and we are supported through the United Way, Beaufort County, the Human Service Alliance, and it is an IRS-sponsored program. And we provide free tax preparation assistance to hardworking individuals and families and those age 60 or above, as well as English is the second language spoken in a home, or also anyone who is disabled. And we, in a normal situation,
year.
right? We have about 12 different sites that we operate in Beaufort, Jasper, Colleton, and Bamberg counties, and but everything sort of came to a halt this year,
Yes.
and kind of bracing for what this next year is going to look like. Because in a typical sense, we have in-person sites where people, go, they get their
come in
taxes
and
done.
they get help.
So I'm excited to just, be here today and kind of share a little bit about the fact that although we don't know, taxes are still going to happen. That doesn't go away.
Taxes and death, right?
Right. So I am right now working on some creative ideas and approaches on how we can actually deliver the services through possibly a combination of having the in-person sites, but as well as doing a drop-off, a few drop-off locations, as well as a virtual program.
So when you say drop-off, tell me more about that.
So for instance, when all of the libraries closed up earlier this year, when they did open back up, their community rooms were not available to the public. So we were real creative, and the Bluffton Library was a star in this, and they let us use their community room where we put up a table and people would stand 6 feet apart. They would come, they'd drop off their information, we'd prepare their tax return, we'd call them or text them, they'd come back, they'd pick it up. I mean, it really, it gave us sort of kind of a pilot as to how we can do that in other places moving forward this year. Because of course, the health and safety of my volunteers, primary importance, as well as the people that we serve.
So you're looking at lots of options
Yes.
for folks.
Yes.
Which probably is a good plan, really.
Yes.
Because you never
I'm
know, really.
Sort of just, I have several contingency plans in place, but the need for volunteers and the need for volunteers that are going to be willing to do things a little bit more creatively versus only doing the in-person. And I really specifically need volunteers in Beaufort. And although I can use volunteers in any other place, but just a really big call out for volunteers in Beaufort.
So what criteria for a volunteer?
So-
Who can volunteer?
Well, a lot of my volunteers, they might have had an accounting background or a tax background, but a lot of them, they just have done their own taxes or their friends' taxes, or they think, maybe I'd like to do this. And we do have a comprehensive training program, so it's not like you're just thrown into it. And all of our new volunteers are paired and mentored with volunteers that have been doing this for, 10, 12, 15 years. So it's something that I assure you, you don't want me doing your taxes, but I'm glad that they love to do taxes.
So the training would be online, so you can do that from home.
Yes, yes.
And so kind of guide you through how you would
That's
help
correct.
help someone.
And you're
with
taken through a bunch of different scenarios. Normally, I will also offer an in-person training. However, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do that this year just because of, I don't know what's going to be open, space requirements and capacity limits, and we're just having to keep that all in mind moving forward.
So again, as you move forward, your greatest challenge is really trying to figure out what is going to be the best, so you keep all those options
That is correct.
open and the volunteer
Yes.
component.
I mean, VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance.
Right.
So we do not survive. We don't have a program without our volunteers, and we're always looking for more.
So anything else you want to share with our viewers about VITA and what we might not know about the service that you provide, the great service you provide our community?
Really, The focus kind of moving into this next year also is to really kind of reach into the Hispanic Latino community, as well as working with more of the elderly population and working with seniors. And so my hope is to create some new partnerships with organizations that can help me reach those populations of people.
So maybe even volunteer translators would
That
be,
would be
I mean, they don't know anything about
fantastic.
taxes, but they could help with that communication.
Absolutely. Translators, tax preparers, greeters. If anybody wants to help, I promise you I will find something.
And how do they find you?
The best way to do that is through our website, which is VITA-Lowcountry.org.
VITA-Lowcountry.org. Theresa Jackson, good job. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you again.
Okay. And thank you so much for joining us for this edition of North of the Broad. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.